Hello everybody, this is a Lamley Preview. Really cool set. The next Hot Wheels diorama set. It's Jay Leno's garage. That is the theme. We got some interesting cars here, but something I've noticed, because Mattel sent this so I can preview it for you. They also sent these. That's going to be the next video, or one of the next videos. I don't know the exact sequence. Is the next set of Team Transports. And I've sensing a theme here. Very interesting cars in those Team Transports, but even more so, very interesting haulers. Two new ones. And the same goes here. Cool cars, a repeat that I don't think people are going to be too excited about, but this set is all about the hauler, the Blue Wonder that's there behind it. So we're going to have a look at that set, open this up, figure out what to pair it with, talk about this set, but let's just talk about it right now. This will be in stores very soon if Mattel sent it to me. I'll show you the box so you can get a sense of what's going on. Ford Shelby GT 350R, that's a casting I believe started as, didn't it start as a basic, went to premium? I think we've seen it in blue and Fast and Furious. Then the 2017 Ford GT, just looks black here. Obviously it has the red stripe. Jay Leno tank car, an interesting repeat considering the car that would go most logically with the hauler. And let's talk about the hauler, because it's the 1955 Mercedes-Benz Blaus Wunder. I'm probably saying that wrong. I want to say it right. Blaus Wunder. But it translates to Blue Wonder. A one-off Mercedes hauler, a fast one-off Mercedes hauler from the mid-50s that hauled around race cars and eventually scrapped and then rebuilt, right, from scratch by Mercedes, I believe in the maybe about 20 or 30 years ago as well. So, and I know Jay Leno showed this. I don't know if he owns it. You guys will have to let me know, but he showed this hauler on one of his shows, and here it is. So there's the set. So let's just, first off, let's take a look at the background. There's nothing from a picture standpoint that I think is interesting, but I always like looking at the background before we cut out the cars. Move this box over here. So this is, I mean, the background's obvious, right? And it's actually done quite well. This is Leno's actual garage that he uses, obviously, to store his cars and work on his cars, but it also serves as the backdrop for his video series. And what I love here is the background's done in kind of a shadowy look with those lamps, and then the ground shows kind of a spotlight, which is very much like how he does his show, right? He has a spotlight on the car. He's there with whoever the owner is or some sort of guest. And it's lit kind of nicely. The issue with this one is the way they've stored the hauler, because you could have a very nice display set here with the three cars, but the hauler's so protected, and we'll figure out why maybe once we open it up. I don't know why exactly, but it kind of takes away from what it is actually a very cool look. So we can talk about the models real quickly. Well, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and I'll break away here, and I will separate the cars from their prison, and we'll focus on this one last. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, all opened. I just figured this out, and you'll want to know this when you do buy this if you want to open up the set. Usually what I do is just pull the cars and I cut the little rubber band things that hold them. They're usually they're tied down by the axle of the car. In this case, the hauler is actually placed inside, and there's some rubber bands around it, but these little flaps here have rubber bands around them, kind of holding the car in. So once you cut them, you don't have to cut it from the base. The car's not attached to the base. Just a little fun fact, I don't know, for you. But anyway, let's just get that out of the way. Maybe we can even use this as a nice little background. Let's talk about the cars. Well, we'll go through the Jay Leno tank car first. This kind of custom-made car. We saw this in the Jay Leno and the Jay Leno Car Culture set. My assumption is there's not much they can do with this casting. I don't see them being able to put it in a different color or anything, because it is the Jay Leno car. Maybe there is, and there could be some licensing agreements there. And my guess is instead of using the obvious choice, the red 300 SL Goldwing, which we'll talk about in a second, they utilize this as a time to redo this casting. Since they developed it, paid for the licensing or whatever, it's just another place where they could do this casting. And so that's my assumption, is that's why it's in there. Doesn't even fit on the hauler, so we'll just move that. Here, we'll just put it off to the side right there. Next car, let's go with the Mustang. So 2 Fords. Obviously, these are cars he has in his garage. Don't know. Again, there might be something more to this as to why a certain car is being shown in this set or used in this set versus some others. But it is a new... What we get out of this is almost like the Fast and Furious stuff. I don't have too much attachment to Jay Leno's cars because they're Jay Leno's cars, but he has some really cool cars. And this Mustang, we now get this really nice, clean, white and blue with blue stripes version of the 350 or the GT 350R. So I'm kind of cool. I'm happy with that one, and we'll definitely put that into the into my premium set. Ford GT of the cars themselves is probably the one I'm most interested in. I just like it in black. This casting's okay. I wouldn't say this casting is great. I think that the race car, the Le Mans race car, is better than this casting. But if we're going to see it, it's fine. I would like to see some sportier wheels on it. I mean, these are sporty wheels, but they're kind of small for this casting, but they've used this one a lot. But it's nice. It's nice in black with the red stripes. Obviously, the replica of this Ford GT that Jay Leno has in his collection, obviously. And it's a nice car. Again, it's just a nice car. But who cares about those? This is the winner. Like I said, I have no idea if Jay Leno has one of these in his collection. I know he's shown it, but even when you open it, you realize this is something special. This car, or this hauler, the Blue Wonder, has been done in small scale many times before. I think I have one done. I think it was commissioned by Mercedes itself in 1/64, but we now have a Hot Wheels version, and it's a very, very cool replica of this car. It's a Hot Wheels version of it. Obviously, there's better detailed ones out there, but Hot Wheels had some fun with this. No movable parts, but you can kind of see there's spare tires down below. This is all metal. They've somehow attached spare tires underneath the little flatbed portion of it. I'm assuming, obviously, this is something that the Blue Wonder had. And this is all molded into one piece. From front to back, it's molded into one piece. There's a portion in the back here that looks like something maybe for the rivet. But this has rivets in the back for the hauler, has a rivet in the front. And they've been kind of clever in how they've put this model together. It's heavy. It's very, very heavy. And I just think it is just incredibly cool. And like I said, when we get to the team transport, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to be like all about the haulers. The cars are great, but it's going to be about the haulers. So the question here now, as it's kind of getting dark out here, better get to the rain, is, I mean, you can put a Ford GT on it. You can put a Mustang on it. You can't put the Leno car on it. But what you got to put on it is a classic Mercedes-Benz racing car, right? Obviously. The racing car that was hauled around in the 1950s by the Blue Wonder is Hot Wheels hasn't made, but they have done some. So now the obvious one, and we'll just put these on the turntable together, and you guys can tell me which one you like best, is the 300 SL from the Leno set in Car Culture. It fits, it looks nice, it's just like it was done in the video. It's actually Leno's car, so if that's the theme you want to go with, it's perfect. And it's a 300 SL. It looks fantastic on the hauler. By the way, the hauler was very fast. They built it to be fast too. It was easily the fastest hauler out there back in the day, if that was important to someone. It must have been important to Mercedes. Anyway, they look really good together. So that's an obvious choice. Maybe that's the number one you have. I'll show you the one that's my number one. Thought about maybe the Red Pig. Looks a little big on it, maybe not totally to scale, but just like the 300 SL in red, it looks nice. It's obviously an appropriate pairing. Obviously, this car I think came out well after the Blue Wonder, but you know, you could see it hauling around the AMG, the very first AMG Mercedes. So that's an option. Thought about the Sauber, brought out the original Sauber. Now I think, you know, again, the eras don't work here. They're not congruent, but I mean, theme-wise, that's pretty good, right? That looks pretty good. I'm kind of digging that. That'd be my choice so far, but then I just kind of did a couple of fantasy. This one's kind of way off scale-wise. The DTM C-Class here in the D2 livery, I just love that car, and I mean, any Mercedes works fine. You can actually see the way it was done. The nose of the car actually fits in that little indentation on the on the hauler that looks nice, but the car does look a little oversized, or the hauler looks a little too miniature with that one compared. And then I did pull out the CLK GTR. That one may not work either, but why not? Why not? Nose fits nicely into the cab as well. Scales off. But to me, there's a no-brainer. If they haven't done the actual car that this hauler was hauling around, and maybe one day Hot Wheels will, the obvious car is the 417. The Mille Miglia 417 300 SL. Same casting as the Leno in red, but you're talking about a classic hauler with an iconic classic Mercedes race car. I mean, the other ones are iconic too, but aero-wise, period-wise, this is the best combination. Don't think they ever were paired together in real life, but they sure do look good together. So that's where I'm going to pair these up. But ultimately, it's just so cool. Whether we have this hauler again, I'm sure we're going to have this hauler done in a team transport at some point. I don't know if we'll get it in a different color. That would be a fantasy color, obviously. I think this thing is super, super cool. You guys tell me what you think. As far as diorama sets go, the cars don't leave much to be excited about. I get worried that this might hang, but you got to, or I guess sit on the shelves. But I promise you, the unique design of this hauler, of the Blue Wonder, with that cab just sitting right out in front of the wheels, and the weight and quality of it from a Hot Wheels perspective, it's so worth having. I highly suggest buying it for that. The other cars, only if you're really into them. You guys tell me what you think. We'll get to these team transports later. Thanks, everybody. Bye.